All right, everyone. We are going to start kind of a review before we get into the next unit. Um, Based on these writing samples that we've had uh, both before and since the closure, some of you guys are having a little bit of trouble on what kind of structure you're looking for when you are writing a paragraph. A paragraph is not just random sentences thrown together. There's actually a order and a flow that goes with them in order for them to be structured appropriately. Okay. So we're going to review that a little bit so that you can have a better understanding of that. We'll get some practice in. And get you guys a little bit more proficient at it, maybe give you guys a couple of more strategies so that it sticks a little better. And that way, whenever we get into the next large writing assignment, you will be a little bit more successful with your paragraphs. Okay. So that being said, let us get started. The strategy that I'm going to be showing you guys today is PEEL, PEEL. It's an acronym, as you can see. Point, purpose, position. That is your topic sentence. Okay, so that's the topic sentence. It will typically answer a question or respond to, something. It's a response to something. All right. So that's typically what that is. All right. In this past argumentative writing, you were looking for position, what the claim was. All right. So that would have been your, your topic of the whole thing. If you were writing an argumentative paragraph, that would have been your first sentence, would have been your claim. And then you have your evidence. Your evidence is your documented proof. Let's put it that way. Okay. So documented proof to back up your topic sentence. I swear I can type today. All right. So that is, move that over. That is what your evidence is. Your evidence is typically going to be what you're going to have to worry about when you cite it. Cite the source. That is where you have to worry about source citations, is on your evidence. Okay. Then you have an explanation. All right. Your explanation is going to tie your evidence to your topic. Ties the evidence to the topic. All right. How does this piece of evidence that you found relate to your topic, your point, whatever? Okay. So say your position, or say that you're trying to make a point of how having a full night's rest is a benefit to student learning. Okay. That would be your point. Okay. That's your topic sentence. And then you would find some evidence to document that. You would probably find a scientific journal or a research study, something that has information on the benefits of having, a certain amount of rest, what it does to the brain, what it does to the body, the effects of it on someone. All right. So that's that. And then you would have your explanation of how this scientific evidence that you found that makes sleep so beneficial to the human body in general, how does that relate to your position of sleep being beneficial for students? Okay. So that is what you were looking for whenever you're looking for an explanation. All right. And remember how I said that your topic sentence is typically an answer to a question or a response to something? Your conclusion sentence is going to link back to the question. Okay, so this ties everything together. All right, it ties all of this up and puts it in a nice little bow. All right, so that is where you're going to have to tie it all of this in with whatever you are trying to answer to. Okay, get rid of my notes there, and we'll go to the next slide where we can have an example here. So I have the graphic organizer up for you guys to look at so you can kind of see what it looks like in practice. So the position given is YouTube is to blame for the dangerous stunts videos on the website. Okay, that is a claim. That's a statement. Notice how this statement is not it doesn't show any other points. It doesn't give acknowledgement to maybe, you know, YouTube is a factor in it, or YouTube it contributes to it. No, it's saying that YouTube is the problem. YouTube is what's at fault. All right. That was one of the big things about y'all's claims on y'all's argumentative essays. Some of your claims were not strong and definitive like that. So when you have a position, you need to make sure it's a statement. It's, you know, it's non-negotiable. This is what it is. All right. That is what you need to be here. And then you have your evidence. TC, that's your text citation, your in-text citation. That is where, you know, that's where you had like, what source did you pull that information from? Okay. So you have the evidence here. It says according to the article, and then here's some more evidence. And then right here you have another thing, and then you have a quote, looks like, from the article here. They forgot to put the TC in the parentheses, but that's okay. We can kind of get that that is part of the text citation. All right. Now remember, your in-text citation comes directly from your source citation that you put on your works cited. Again, February 4th, you can review all of that, and there will also be another review on citations when we get to the paper in the next unit. But text citations are very important. Okay, so then you have your explanations down here. And notice how your explanations are a little bit shorter. Whenever you have your evidence, sometimes your evidence is longer. So like here you have two sentences, all in one quote. So this entire quote is getting explained by this shorter sentence. Is that always going to be the case? No. Sometimes your quotes might be shorter and your explanation will be longer. It is going to depend greatly on what kind of evidence you're looking for, what kind of point you're trying to make, and how well you are able to explain what it is that ties the two together. All right. And that's all going to come with practice and with time. If you can't think of anything right now, don't get discouraged on it or anything. That's kind of what a rough draft and the graphic organizers are for. It's for you to get the messy stuff, kind of word vomit out onto the paper, and then you can clean it up as you go along before you get to the final copy. All right. So don't think that we expect you to have the perfect explanation or the perfect evidence or the perfect wording the first time around. That's why we have you rewriting it over and over and over again. It's so that as you with each revision, each time you rewrite it, you might find a way to word something better. Okay. So these are explanations that tie your evidence to your position, and then your link back to the position, linking back to the question. It says, for these reasons, I believe that YouTube should create tougher standards for the videos being uploaded to the website and ban all dangerous stunt videos from the website. All right, so this is a restatement of the position, okay? It's not only giving a restatement here, that's what this is. let me get, there we go. Saying, so the all dangerous stunt videos from the website, that is alluding, or, you know, it's referencing to how YouTube is to blame for the stunt sites. And it's kind of also saying that YouTube having weak standards for videos, and not banning these dangerous stunt videos, that is also to blame for all of the issues that are going on. All right. So that is an example of this. So for a practice for a whole class, we decided to kind of do a short little mini research topic. There we go. So as the topic we decided to do is, what dangers did Lewis and Clark face when exploring the Midwest? Well, you kind of need some background information on them. Some of you guys probably remember Lewis and Clark from 5th grade US history. If you don't, we'll touch into a little bit. I'll give you some sources that you can go look at to get a little bit more information, and then you guys can work on filling out your graphic organizer for the paragraph. All right. So first things first, you kind of need to know what we're talking about when we talk about the Midwest. The Midwest is this northern central region of the United States. It is located between the Appalachian Mountains would be over here, and then the Rocky Mountains are over here. And it is above, if you remember your history of the Civil War, it's kind of above the Mason-Dixon line right here, upper Great Plains. All right. The states that are included, it's North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Ohio. All right, those are all of the states that make up what is known as the United States Midwest. All right. In the 1800s, when Lewis and Clark went through the Midwest, there were a lot of Indian tribes that were in this region. The Indian tribes included the Kickapoo, Sauk, Potawatomi, Ottawa, Ojibwa, Illinois, Miami, Huron, Dakota, and Sioux tribes. As you can see, some of these tribes had states and cities, and Ottawa is actually a province in Canada. But as you can see, there were some acknowledgements to their existence whenever naming different areas. Okay. Well, then we know where it is. We know what kind of American tribes were there. So what does that look like on a geographical map? Well, here, I pulled this out of a book that I had, the map that they did. So up here is, here's the Wisconsin branch right here. So Michigan and then Minnesota would be over here. And then the Dakotas are somewhere over here, around about, and then it goes on. So this blue line, and you could probably see where the route was in the actual book. I just put the blue line on here to kind of make it pop out a little bit more. So it starts right here at the Missouri River, and then he kind of goes up north. Well, you got to kind of think and ask yourself, this region of America in the 1800s, so it's not developed or anything. It's all wild land up here. There was nobody living here except for the Native American tribes. So you kind of have to think about, okay, it was all unknown. Okay, it was all unknown in here. So they didn't know what kind of wildlife was going to be there. They didn't know, they had no idea that the plains spanned as wide as it did. So they would have no idea, no way of knowing how long they would be looking at rolling flat hills or anything like that, or if they would come up on mountains at any point in this region, or if they would come up on forested area, or uh, what kind of climate they're looking at. We just got out of pretty horrible winter weather for Texas. This is, you know, the northern US. The weather is colder up there. And it's the 1800s. So there was no way for them to heat up anything except building a fire. And sometimes that wasn't able to be done because, again, there's not a whole lot of wooded area up here. But you guys can make that distinction for yourself as you kind of research Lewis and Clark a little bit. Here are some sources that I found for you guys. It's all Britannica, so it's a valid source. These are, you know, good sources that you can use. I encourage you to use these instead of going and looking for any other different kind of source. This PowerPoint is going to be uploaded to Schoology, so you should be able to access the links themselves and just open it that way. Otherwise, you can copy and paste it and put it in your web browser, and you should still be able to access the sites. All right. So again, you have to think. What is the question? So your question is, what dangers did Lewis and Clark face when exploring the Midwest? So then you're going to come to your, you'll either have your notebook paper in front of you, or you'll have this in front of you, or you'll have, you can print the PDF file that's going to be on Schoology and have it in front of you. So what is a danger that they faced? Okay, kind of think about it. A couple of things I said. Think about what you're going to read through on your on the articles. What is one danger that they faced? All right. You can talk about the different Indian tribes. You can talk about the different climates. You can talk about unknown wildlife that may have been dangerous to them that would have been in the area, and then things like that. And then you're going to find evidence that backs up whatever danger you decide that they had faced crossing the Midwest. All right. So you need to find evidence that backs all that up. Then you're going to explain how that evidence backs it up. So if you choose, they didn't know, I don't know, they didn't know how to speak Indian language. Okay. So what was the evidence of that? All right. And then how would this evidence tie into, how would that be a danger? Okay. Well, no, that's the link back. Never mind. How does your evidence support that they didn't know the language or something like that? And then your link back, that's where you would link everything here back to how is all of this a danger that they faced? How is it actually dangerous? Or, something like that. And that's basically how you do it. For one position, you may not be able to find all three. At least try to find two. All right. At least try to find two pieces of evidence to back up your claim. Because, think about it. If you have somebody telling you one thing and they're the only one saying it, it might be a little bit hard to believe. If you have another person that says the same thing, it's a little bit more believable. Okay. So that's kind of the same thing whenever we're talking about try to have as much evidence as possible. You might not be able to find three, but if you can at least find two pieces of evidence to back up whatever your position or claim or response is, then it's easier to get others to believe it as well. Excuse me. And then the same thing with your explanations. Try to have your explanations match your evidence. All right. So if you do all of the sentence, if you do as much in here as you should at minimum be able to have 4 to 7 sentences. All right. Some of you guys keep writing, 2 or 3 sentence paragraphs. That is no longer acceptable. 2, 3 sentence paragraphs is not acceptable at all. That's third or fourth grade work. You guys are in sixth grade now. You guys are better writers than the average third or fourth grader. You should be able to reflect that in your sentences. They do not have to be, perfect sentences, but that, you do have to have the sentences in there. They have to be understandable. They have to be coherent. So please make sure that you are keeping in the standards in mind. All right. If you have any questions, please make sure you contact your ELA teacher for guidance, and ask questions, message on Schoology, come up and see us in class if you're face to face. Come to tutoring, request a tutoring Zoom if you're at home, something like that. All right. I hope you guys do great. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.